Right, Grand Rising Soul Siblings is Shay Seeking from American Aborigines Unchained here on YouTube and in the Facebook group. And today, oh, you can also find me on Instagram at Shay_Seeking. So again, today I'm just going through a couple of things where I'm trying to formulate a pattern the way that you guys know that I do on this channel for speaking on the whole Christ consciousness or um, the coming of a Lord. Um, Again, I'm not sure if I fully understand all of it, but I'm going to try to give it to you the best way that I know how about this being a consciousness or awareness that is partaking and has been for a while on this plane. And there are certain energies and ancestral and heraldry and all type of things wrapped up into it. Type of sacred connections. Uh, I don't know, uh, kind of like a twin kind of flame type of thing, where I usually look at a twin flame as the higher conscious, okay, as a lower consciousness making the connect with the higher conscious. But then I guess you can kind of say that in a sense here, but actually separating it into at something that is above and below in society, I guess. And then also like a joining of a force in a sense, in order to bring in or uh, even a portion of it prophesying what is to come, or what has already, occurred. So again, we're talking about the, I think it's Heiros Gamos, if I'm not mistaken. And it says that the Heiros Gamos is a wedded garment of God, wearing the white robes of the One. Heiros Gamos refers to the risen Christos Sophia as the embodiment of the inner hierogamic, almost reminds me of hero. But anyway, union between the human being and the divine. Um, Heiros Gamos is the full resurrection of the body. And again, this may be representing the body. Again, I always look at the body of Christ as being a group of people, um, uh, in a sense, almost like reminds me of one of the something that he says in one of his songs is that, what is it? Oh my goodness, I can't remember right off the top of my head. Something along the lines of Christ being, there being one of him and thousands of them, or you. And then he also says in another song something along the lines as Christ the King and Christ is King and we the soldiers. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it goes something like that. But it's just like little things like that that I pick up on that just pique my interest and make me kind of look at the whole thing, right? So it says here that the eternal, and I'm just going to say that's like a forever light, because again, I feel like some of this stuff has to do with different lifetimes, remembering, right, of different lifetimes that some of us may have been in, uh, different energies that come along with that. Different changes and things that are going on with certain people on this plane that they just don't fit in anymore because they're experiencing some of these things and they just don't know um, how, why, or what. They're piecing these things together. So it says a cosmic Christ consciousness, in the body's return to energetic balance, neutral in the unity field. So again, unity is key, right? So, or zero field. The light body being is one with God. Okay, so the light body being is one with God. All right, and the Christos body is glorified in the perfection as representative of God's eternal light image. Now, again, we can this is just me giving you a something to go off of. I'm actually going to do, this is like what I would say the mainstream arena. And then I'm going to go ahead and try to breeze through or read through what I would say will be a more ethnic version of what is being said here. Again, because everybody has their own idea just because of what the religious aspect as to what Jesus and Christ and everything would be. And that's why I do the type of work, or I've done the type of work that I've done in the biblical text, because it's to show you that there is another way of looking at this. We use the etymology and stuff like that just to trigger things and just to help with downloads or memory or bringing the energy back, right? So again, let's see, and it's just like a shame that sometimes it feels like there's so much negative energy that comes with it, with doing this type of work, because everybody wants you to give that up. But again, if you've been born and bred and this is your time to show, then, who is anybody else on this plane to tell me to stop? If they don't like what this information is about, again, I tell you, I'm never here to tell you what it is or what it ain't. I'm just simply sharing what it looks like to me. And again, I'm at the point where I just don't care anymore. I'll stop when other parties that I feel are included tell me to do so. Okay. So again, that's just not me to just put something out and clam up and, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I'm just going to go ahead and keep it flowing. Right. So it said, okay, so God's eternal light image, in Heiros Gamos coupling, the genetic equal of the monad unites with its counterpart to embody. Because again, I've already experienced this like day to day, coming to these type of conclusions by just hearing and seeing different images and text. Because I see through imagery and words. So I'm just trying to share with you the best way that I know how, right? Without being all over the place and having some structure so you can have something that you can take and do your own research with, right? Because again, when I see it as the Christ consciousness on that level where it's going to spread across, then that just means that all of us have work to do, that we all play a part in this unifying and this cleansing of that's going on, the kingdom that's being prepared, amongst other things in these days, right? So unites with his counterpart to embody the sacred marriage of Christic equals, to merge into one spiritual body. Now, this goes along the line of the book that I've been reading to you guys, that I'm going to go ahead and continue to read more, right? So it says, one spiritual body to hold the spirits of Christ. The Christic male and a Christic female unite in the Heiros Gamos, or rod, and staff union as the Christos Sophia, to be of service within God's eternal light divine plan to correct the sophionic body. Okay, so again, that right there is making me want to go in another direction right now, but we're going to go ahead and stay on course. Okay, and to restore liberation, see, of ascension. So again, we're going back into a time where we were, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, right? So again, we're going back to that place. Things are being underway that are going to take us there, right? And there's no turning back at this point, except for, and this is why I feel like these people have not been able to actually insert those things into your body yet forcefully, because it will be going against or warring against God at that point in time, because that possibly could be a part. This is just my opinion that I've held for a while, that this whole vid thing that's going on is a natural organic force that's going on amongst the plane, the planet, the people, the earth, the soil. Is a renewing, a rebirth, whatever you want to call it, right? But it has to start with healing from the inside. So again, people might think that this is religious, but this is so far away from that. We're just basically taking in the information and sharing it, because again, no matter how you feel about the text, there have been lots of things that have come and happened, and things that are happening now that are being told in the book. So again, I look at it as the word, I look at it as history, and I like to pile that up and combine it with mythology and all of those other things in order to find what seems like the truth. So we may be talking about Sophia now, but it might be Mary, you know what I'm saying? It might be something with Mary, Magdala, or Magdalene, or whatever they call her. It might have something to do with uh, Ostara or Ishtar or Inanna. So again, all of these things I feel like compile. The reason why it is confused, I feel as though they did that on purpose by making history, mythology, all these other things, is to separate that, to make it very hard to. But once you start reading about these certain goddesses and gods and deities and things, even from all over the plane, all over the world, you'll start to see how similar the stories are, because again, they probably all branch from one story that's being told um, throughout time. Okay, reincarnation of a sense of souls never dying and coming back and things like this, right? So let's keep going. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Okay, this is just to give you something. Okay. Yeah, so this is going to be given ascension upon the earth. And again, you guys know how I break it down with the structure or the construct that we're under. When we're talking about the earth, we're talking about earth being beings, right? And natural beings that were on this plane that were used or grafted or DNA, or, you know, because we know that these classes and these races and all these other separations and divisions that have been placed on us by the construct are to basically conquer and divide. Or even when we're talking about the different languages, there's a language of love, there's language, you know, there's body language, there's, you know what I'm saying? So it's just okay, y'all, I'm kind of nervous. I ain't been doing no videos and I got just a lot on my mind, right? So it says, so when we're talking about that, we're talking about earth, the offspring, and whatever would be organic or original or natural or sprung from something that was natural. Okay, so it says Heiros Gamos is the embodiment of the new cosmic ray frequency of Mother Ark. And again, this whole thing, well, again, I'm just now seeing cosmic ray for the first time, but again, it's making me think of just like the other day I was sitting out in the sun. Usually I take a moment to, at least if I can't get outside because it's cold and snowing, to get my face out the window and just chill, you know, and just, you know, take the sun in as much as possible, or go outside and make sure I check the mailbox or something, you know what I'm saying? Go outside for a brief moment just to get some sun. But I was just telling my daughter the other day, this sun feels like the sun from like the 80s. It's like a throwback sun. You know what I'm saying? The energy that's giving me, the vibe that it's giving me. So, anyways, I feel like there is a new sun. I feel like lots of things that I've seen come about with this sun, where maybe the energies, everybody won't be able to, you see, vibe with that. And so that's another reason why I'm saying that it might be something going on even deeper than that, where some entities may be looking for a certain host, right, to see, or vessels to, you know, in order to stay. Okay, I don't know. We could go into that later on when I go into something else. So, frequencies of Mother Ark, aquamarine and Father Ark, emerald green hues. Now, green and yellow, for some reason, have been coming up in readings. It's been coming up in a lot of different things, imagery and stuff like that that I'm taking in. You know, emerald just happens to be my birthstone, but again, we can keep it moving. Emerald green hues and their DNA lens being introduced to the universe. These frequency colors represent the aurora body, guardian consciousness of the united Christic forms, embodied in the future sovereignty timeline of GSF. Okay, interdimensional resonator plus bass tone, overtone, and resonant tone amplifiers. Okay, so now it goes into stuff right here talking about the gender principle in creation, new relationship paradigm, spiritual marriage in no time, spiritual, you see all this stuff here. Okay, that's very interesting to me. Lots of it. See, so it says gender principle in creation. In ascension context, the synthesizing of the pair of energetic opposite into opposite into unity is also referred to as a polarity. Now, see, polarity and polar and pole. There's just even Poe, Ellen Edgar Poe. Um, like the hotel that I'm staying at has something to do with Poe, or written on one of like the light switches saying "Do not." I don't know. Then I actually brought my books when I came to my little getaway, um, and I've been reading them, and it's also been opening up. It's something that I never really paid attention to. I've had the books forever. You know what I'm saying? But I did see a lot of biblical references on, because I hear that, now I know because I collect books of antiquity, right? So that sometimes behind the spine of the book lays some type of message, right? But I think I only have 3 books out of like a whole, uh, you know, um, collection or whatever. But yeah, so it was just funny to see that when the spine started falling off, and so now I'm like super excited to like dig into that kind of stuff too. But anywho, okay. So again, we're talking about the pairs of energetic opposites into unity. It is also referred to as polarity, integration, energetic synthesis, or spiritual marriage. So again, this is something that could be happening to someone that is on. It's just like a union, right? Okay, so I don't know exactly how far it goes, but it's just a union of energy. It is what it's seeming like, if we just want to keep it real basic. This also has the exact same meaning when applied to gender unification, which is the genetic balance between the masculine principle and the feminine principle. To biologically evolve spirituality, the energetic balance between the male and female energies within the self must be unified. Okay, the apex of the perfect unification is Heiros Gamos. The planet has reached that axis. Okay, so again, even thinking about that whole thing as the Earth is tilted on her axis. Um, I think it's spelled different, but again, in time where the gender principle of creation in this world will be tested for genetic integrity on every level it exists. Essentially, this is a planetary body, Merkaba shifts between the counter-rotating spirals of the masculine and feminine energies. What this means is that everything having to do with masculine and feminine principles of energy on this planet are undergoing some kind of transformation at the blueprint level. See, blueprint. So again, that's reminding me of something else that I've seen. Okay, so like whenever I tell you like a message or just I'm not going to be very specific about where I get this information from. Just know trigger words, I'll share them to say that I feel like that energy is flowing in, and I'm getting different messages and images and symbols and signs. Again, because signs and symbols are running the world. And again, they are there for, I can't remember what it says in Genesis, but that we're to look to these, or there to be for signs and symbols, okay? The stars or luminaries or whatever you want to call it, okay? So it says that level which adjusts gender principle. Okay. So again, the new relationship paradigm, the term Heiros Gamos is used generally to refer to the sacred marriage between 2 divinities, or between a human being and a mother and a mother-father God. Okay. All right, or between 2 human beings under certain special conditions, the ultimate alchemy of forces which harmonize polar opposites. Okay, so again, You guys can read this on your own. I just wanted to introduce it to you. We'll just look at this real quick. The crystal star template, of which has previously referred to as spiritual marriage in no time, has returned to the earth logos in 2012 again. And I think that this whole storyline that we're going through with all of this stuff that I'm just now catching in, I call it somewhat of a, again, joking around as a late registration to just finally be getting in tune with what's going on and what process I've been going through for the past 8 years or more with this information. So yeah, alchemical restoration of Heiros Gamos, connected through the Unity logos, a guardian project to rebirth the planetary logos. Heiros Gamos, or Hiragami, is the sacred marriage of human beings with divinity, the inner spirit. See? So it's reminding me of in and out, as above, so below, more even dealing with that is in the core, or even the root. Again, prior to the beginning, right? So, and the unification between all life expressions and its level of opposite. From the guardian perspective, spiritual ascension comprises the science of the spirit. My nose has been itching. Okay, sorry, that was a sneeze. It could either be real little like that, or we can, it sounds like I'm screaming. So, okay, so encompassing the entire creational mechanics of how spirit and matter. So again, are we talking about that dark matter? Order out of chaos, even the chaos that has been bestowed upon us as of lately. So, and matter travel through the time and space, a certain level of frequency. So it's all about energy and frequency and all of these things. Conjunction, even with the conjunction, within the spiral of time. Access is possible to new DNA templates and therefore embodiments. The planet has reached that axis in time. The Heiros Gamos in the sacrament that represents sacred marriage at the individual level, to the relationship level, to the group level, as a part of a spiritual ascension, moving through the spiraling staircase of the time to experience unification with or marry all aspects of God. When we marry God through this sacrament, so it's saying when we, right, the Christos Sophia returns. So again, all of that work that we've been doing, everybody doing their part, each one teach one, just, sharing information. Again, I cannot tell you how much. See, I'm kind of like a loner in real life. I keep my circle tight, but at the end of the day, I have respect for any and every single person, and I have love for every single person that has some type of information that goes against the grain, that's sharing that and inspiring people and opening up. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know who is suffering because of some of this information that they may be holding, and they just don't have anyone to talk to about. So again, that's what I do. That's what I like to do. And that's what I'm going to keep on doing. And if anyone doesn't like it, then they don't have to watch. But again, you'll be missing out. So, and again, it's not to take my word, never. It is to get this information that you may even already know. This might even just be like, oh, okay, now I see. I'm looking at it this way or whatnot. This is just to open the minds and expand the minds, just so that we can, get moving. So, on top of all the exciting developments of God's consciousness, technology returning back to our planet through our mother ark herself. So again, the mother ark, again, I haven't looked into it, but I'm just wondering about if it's just repairing the woman, especially the so-called black or original woman, and then the offspring. So again, I'm not sure. That was just me throwing that in because that's just what is making me think right now. But I have not researched what the mother arc is. Okay. We are getting ready to, I have an idea of what I think we're talking about. But again, we are getting ready to understand the unity architecture in this Trinity wave. So again, here we go talking about a wave because again, I don't know, maybe I'll link some of the songs down here. But these songs are standing out just about mother and the Trinity and just the wave in general and water and all of these things that I've been, uh, witnessing and seeing and reading into certain things when it comes to these particular things. Okay. And especially with Kanye's songs, right? So it says pattern, and it directs relationship to manifest true spiritual marriage on the planet as mother brings back the crystal star frequency. So again, this star has a lot to do with, I feel, my energy and a lot of other women. You know what I'm saying? It's just at one point I'm thinking, damn, is sisterhood dead? But I just don't think so. I just think it's just been so many other things that have been in the way of this. And again, so this is what the ancestors, the gods, whatever you want to say, has brought back here directly through and to you, okay, in a form of energy and frequency. So as mother brings back the crystal star frequency, the 7 sacred sons. So again, there's a lot of 7. I think the video I did earlier was only 7 minutes. The 7 sisters or whatever, the Pleiades. 7, even when it comes to the Moorish science temple. I'm just thinking of things randomly that are coming to mind as I'm reading this whole, even 7 chakras, there's just a lot that is coming to mind reading that. It is bringing the temple of sacred spiritual union between the rod and the staff functions of the light body Merkabic field. Now, okay, so even I was just looking at the image for the American gods, and I was just thinking like how some of these people remind me of, like, each person on that show I can identify with in a sense, right? Because I feel like it's not really them. They're representing a chakra or a certain energy that vibes with that color, with that energy, with whatnot. So, and I think there's 7 of them on there's not a cover, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. And they all have a different color around their head. Okay. So again, which will lead me to think even how we all have different parts. Some of us are more spiritual, we're within. Some of us are teaching how to heal. Some of us are delving into, y'all call it tarot, and I call it tarot. Just people getting back into nature, people getting back into, it's just so many things. But again, it starts with self. So again, I saw someone post say the only savior is is in the mirror. And I'm thinking like, yes, of course, right? So you have to come to a certain realization to even realize that this stuff is going on. You have to be listening. You have to slow down. See, slow it down. Again, another song, okay? So to be able to hear this, to witness or to, take it in. So a lot of people are so angry or so bent out of shape about religion that they don't even want to hear anything about the word, and they're not seeing these things occur because they're looking at it in a different aspect than what I feel it really is. This is really basic at this point. So it says, so it's bringing the temple of the sacred union between the rod and the staff function. It's even making me think, of the Ankh for some reason. I don't know right now. Of the light bodies. So anyways, people are going to be well versed. But the whole thing is about information and energy being poured out or brought to life, downloads, different things that are happening to us, transformation, okay, which is going to lead to unification, whether we like it or not. See, because all of these titles we forget have been given to us by those who seem to be going against nature in a sense. So, okay. So anyways, yeah. So we'll just skip through. I'm not going to do all of them, but I do want to do this one here. The 3 levels of sacred marriage. Level 1, the sacred marriage is building wings. Level 2 of sacred marriage is building the blue crystal lotus heart. Okay. And level 3 is the sacred marriage is the Heiros Gamos. The hydroplasmic liquid light of the resin and embodied Christos principle. Okay, so we'll do this one and then I'll stop. Stages of spiritual development in 3 levels. There are distinct stages of spiritual body development and relationships to the energetic merging of these polarities of forces that directly impact gender centers. The integration of these forces is that which results in the integration between the masculine and feminine counterparts existing within each triad or triad. Currently, look at me. The blueprint restoration of the Trinity architecture that is necessary to unite spiritual marriage at all 3 evolving levels. So again, it reminds me of somebody saying that once these beings can communicate telepathically and on different levels like this, then we're on to something, right? So it's being supported in the planetary logos. Okay, the changes. This changes the nature of all gender-based relationships to be brought into energetic reconciliation. All of these spiritual marriage stages of development may be held by an extension, twin, or genetic equal, incarnate, or existing in another dimension. So again, when I was talking about like when on American Gods, I can't remember what episode it was, but it was this season, maybe one of the last 2 shows when Shadow Moon and Odin were getting the suits made because they were going to be going to some kind of function and they were supposedly looking for a wife, right? So again, something happened in that episode where as soon as after it was last season because Nancy was still in the show, and he was telling the story. I think he was telling the story about Bilquis. And again, I can relate to that story as well. So, and I'm sure a lot of you ladies out there can too. So, okay, what was I saying? Oh, and so you saw that, who was it? Odin and Shadow Moon got into an argument, and then he said, "Good, angry, get shit done," right? And so you see, you see after that, there's a flash. I mean, there's like a something that comes in where Shadow Moon is like crawling up this valley of bones, right? Almost like he's ascending to another level, right? So again, part of me feels like, you know, I'm getting like a lot of information and the ancestors are pushing me like, girl, you need to do something, you know, when it comes to your status. We'll just go there. Because I feel like spiritually, you know, it's going to be what it's going to be. But at the same time, something is telling me that I have to go deeper. We'll just say that. Or go higher. Okay? So again, the whole let's see. We'll go into that later. Okay. When we talk more about some of these people that I feel have something to do with this storyline. So more humans will attract relationships from these future timelines, noted as stages, that are designed as levels of spiritual marriage to support the integration of or gender polarities and in past timeline karmic patterns. So again, when we're talking about Esther, or we're talking about Inanna, and when we're talking about Baal and Ahab, I think it was, and Elijah. And when we're talking about these stories like this, um, when you look at the counterparts of these deities or these entities, um, I don't know. It just all just starts to make sense. And we'll go into that later on. I'm going to pull some of the ones that I think have something to do with this. And then again, it reminds me of what's going on with Esther and Elijah in the book that we're reading, The Spring. So again, these stories are just recycled over and over again. And some of the names have been changed or twisted, or the dynamics of the storylines have been twisted. But again, some of us are remembering is all I'll say. So, okay. Can travel through. So again, when we're talking next lifetime or past lifetimes and past relationships and past energies and past frequencies and past, you see what I'm saying? So again, this is another time. So it's a beautiful time to be alive and witness some of these things if you're in tune to a certain degree. The spiritual marriage developments together consciously. Each gender may have a timeline stage that is the completement required for their gender opposite partners polarity integration. So again, it talks about here the level 1 triad or triad. It talks about here level 2, the triad, and the crystal lotus heart. Okay, so again, a lot of this stuff had to do with, so yeah, level 1 is sacred marriage is building wings. So again, this reminds me of Hermes or Hermes and the wings that are on his, helmet or whatever it is. Possibly even on his feet, I think, or his shoes. I don't know. So anyhow, and then it talks about right here, the level 2 of sacred marriage is the building of the blue crystal lotus heart. So again, I feel like when it comes to blue, I don't know. It feels like the energies around me are moving out of blue into green and yellow. I don't know why. Again, I'm just trying to relay it to you guys as best as I can. But it reminds me of a woman so heartless for some reason. Because this is what we're making reference to. Again, I'm going in now. So as much as best as I can, I'm trying to share something with you guys. Okay? So... So yeah, so it has some stuff here about whatnot, stargates and all this other kind of stuff that we could be there forever if I start going into everything. So it says level 3's triad, Heiros Gamos, is the sacred marriage, is the Heiros Gamos, the hydroplasmic liquid light of the resin and embodied Christos Sophianic principles. Level 3 triad or triad, Heiros Gamos union, or the risen Christos Sophia. So it's talking about perfect balance here. The Heirogamic union, men and women of this earth. You are both genders and influenced by these forces and archetypes through the law of gender. Okay, so again, that's funny talking about that on this channel because you know what I've talked about in the past and how, I feel as though like someone was doing a video, and again, sometimes if it's not something that I specialize in, I can get kind of lost. But they were saying some interesting things about genetics and how they actually work, and about these chromosomes and how some people can actually, I don't know, some women can have more of these, and it just started making me think about like women with like might have a little peach fuzz, over the lip, and just a little bit more other aspects that you might see on a male or female when it comes to even, what do you want to call it? We'll just stop there because I can't remember right now. Just like the makeup or, yeah, it slipped my mind. Okay, so it says here that law of gender, okay, forces and the archetypes through the law of gender by seeking inner balance through the perfect union made between the male and female forces. The consciousness is made into a image of God. So again, that's reminding me of the whole thing of both male and female, or that he created them both male and female, and he called them man. And then later on, we go on to the whole story of the man, or Adam and the woman, because it doesn't say Eve until later on in that chapter. So again, like I always say, you can go back and see the video that I did on Adam and Eve in the garden, because I feel like it was way more than just them in that garden if you really slow it down and listen to it or read it. So God, through the hierogamic union of the inner Christos Sophia, this is represented in the special alchemy of unified polarities, the hierogamic union of the God and Goddess, a perfect being, the perfect balance of union between masculine and feminine principles united as one is our true destiny. Okay, so we'll stop there. Look, see, I didn't even want to do that, but we kind of did it. So, I'll leave this part for y'all, but let's read this part because it's calling my name. Okay, through the perfect union of the universal mother and universal father, as an example of gender principle with Adam and Eve in the waters, right? So even just whole thing about waters, wells, and springs and everything. Just even the age of Aquarius, all of these things are calling. Okay, so of sex with chastity. The pillar of the Hermia or Maya is perfected and made into the image of God through the hierogamic union of the inner Christos Sophia. This represented in perfect alchemy of the unified polarities as the magnum opus of cosmic consciousness. Damn. I don't know. I like the way that sounds. But anyways, in this term, hermaphrodite, we see Mercury. See Mercury, and just even see, I don't know. I'm just thinking a lot of things. See, because okay, I'll be going somewhere else. All right, and Hermes, uniting with the goddess of love. So again, I can relate a lot, and just my journey alone relates a lot to this goddess of love. Okay, even with the energy of the Queen of Heaven, in a sense, right? And then heaven being on earth, right? Or, are we talking a certain mindset? See, just saying. Her name is Venus, so all right, Venus or Aphrodite. And again, Belquist though says that she was before Aphrodite. And then we know Venus is, ancient. So has a lot to do with a certain coat of arms that I'm thinking of too, that has the, some people might, I don't know if it's Moorish or not, or just of the Americas. But there's a brown-skinned, chocolate curly-haired man with a crown, and then there's the seashell, right, at the bottom, and then there's the bear off to the right, and I think it's in gold and like a red and brown colors. Maybe I can find it and share it with you guys another time, but okay, so the bear, we know that the bear, I think they just released some new bears by Kanye or whatever. But anyhow, I don't know. I'm not trying to go too far, but, relates to that. Even the whole Jesus is king. And then the shell reminds me of Venus. She's not in it, but there's just a shell there. And again, I'm seeing this stuff in a lot of different things. Even like my granddaughter, one of her favorite things to watch is a turtle tail. I don't know if you've seen that, but there's so much symbolism in that storyline that I just been listening to her watch it. You know what I'm saying? For the past couple of months, and I never really stopped and listened and realized. And so now I can see something in every damn thing. So it's a little bit overwhelming, and I'm just trying to learn how to balance it. But I don't know. I'm not a storyteller, but I'm someone who can break them down in a sense and correlate them. A correlator, or yeah, it's another word for it that I wanted to use, but I can't find it right now. A curator of, okay? Her name is Venus or Aphrodite. When Hermes and Aphrodite unite, they form the hermaphrodite, the perfect balance of unified male and female principle, or the aeonic pair. Christos Sophia, because then you can read about the Pistis Sophia in the Nag Hammadi, right? So a hermaphrodite really truly has nothing to do with the people currently think that it is. Okay, check. Okay, so because again, a lot of stuff that even I thought that I knew that I don't really have a full understanding on, that I was just talking on. But again, that also helped me, showed me, and taught me, how to see things on different levels, and that you don't know. Again, like I always say, we think we know, but we have no idea. It's when it's the source's plan to give us the more information. Until then, all we are really just doing is insinuating, right? All you're really doing is insinuating until then. But then we're talking about going into Gnosticism and knowing, a sense of knowing things, and just, in a real light, right? So a hermaphrodite really truly has nothing to do with people currently think. The mystical understanding of a hermaphrodite is the etymology of the word comes from the union between Mercury and Venus, Hermes and Aphrodite. There's another couple that I'm thinking of, but I'll just do those when we do them. And the hierogamic union of God and goddess. A perfect being, the perfect balance and union between masculine and female, united as one. This even reminds me of something that has to do with, like, what's her name? Wonder Woman? What's her name? What's her name? I think that's her name. And just even when it comes to South America and different places where, what's her name? Who was that old show that used to come on? Xena or Z? Y'all know what I'm saying. Just put it down in the comments if you remember what it's called. And then, all of these different, who are these women? The Amazonian women, right? It's just reminding me of some things. Even certain places where people start off as one so-called gender or sex, and then at some point in time, something happens during puberty, and it's a natural occurrence, supposedly. So again, always learning. And that's why I like to keep things up in the air, and I just grab what I can, share them with you, and then let you come up with your own, So anyhow, I want to thank you guys for watching, and take care. Bye.